I hate to burst your bubble, but I think the same thing about Jasano, the producer.
What?
Yes.
Our producer? He does not do that.
I'm pretty sure he does.
No.
Yes.
No.
Are you serious that you're like being that naive?
It's the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. The rules are gone. The shirt is untucked. Here's Scott and Allie.
Now, we record the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. Welcome, by the way.
Welcome.
We record these really at all sorts of different times. A lot of times it has to do with the schedules. It's not like it's an every Thursday thing or an every Monday thing or anything like that. This week, though, happens to be recorded on Monday, and we are the day after the time change. Allie Payne's been awake since 12:30 last night.
It's true. I'm so tired looking too.
You're going to be spicy, aren't you?
Oh God, yes. All morning long.
That was a great look, by the way.
Oh my God. It's just been. I feel fine, but I know. See, here's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid a nap. So I have some contractors.
Why at this point you might want one?
Well, yeah, but then I'm afraid that I'm going to get in this cycle. So I have some contractors at my house right now. So I was planning on leaving at a decent time, and because I feel like I should be there when they're there. Not that they're ever going to like steal anything from me, but in case they need anything. Plus my dog barks. So I figure if I'm home, he won't bark as much. So anyway, I was thinking of nap. Well, no, I was thinking don't nap, but I don't know how I'm not going to nap. When I get home, I sit on the couch. It's the unavoidable. You know?
You're the only person I know that could literally nap through hammering and banging of contractors being there.
Absolutely. So I'm going to try to avoid the nap because I want to go to bed by like 7:30 and get on a good schedule. I'm the only person who likes the time change in the winter. I want to go to bed at 7:30. I want to be a hermit.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's all right. Although you've been the one that's been promoting the whole, but we get so much light at the end.
I know.
Yay!
And I love that part, especially now we have a pool. So I'm really hopefully going to enjoy that.
Well, I can tell you it's been a weird exchange because 6059 didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning on Sunday into Monday because she took her daughter up to a concert in Buffalo, and by the time they got back it was like, oh my God. So I've not been up as long as you, but you know how the broken sleep starts happening.
Yes.
And when it happens about 2:30 and you get up at 4 in the morning, you're like, okay, this is weird.
That reminds me when Lydia was younger. I felt like she just could not get through a night.
Yeah, she was.
I don't
she went
remember
through
this
that
with
phase.
Gavin, but Gavin's 10. That's been a long time ago. But I don't remember you losing sleep with Gavin like you lost sleep with Lydia.
No, Gavin it's weird. And this is the whole thing why specifically mothers must be able to go back and have more than one kid. They must forget like pain and things like that of birth, because I'm having a hard time remembering all the things, like that. But I seem to remember when Gavin was the age where he would finally start to go to sleep, like that was it. He was out. Now, he was the one that would be up at 5 in the morning on the weekend, though. You're like, oh my God, it's the weekend.
You literally trained him to your schedule.
Oh, give me till 6:37. I don't know.
Okay, you had said at the very end of last week's podcast, what is Doug doing in his car? So this is a coworker of ours.
All right.
What do you want to know? I know exactly what he's doing in his car.
Okay. You got to help me on this, because now I'm not making this a negative. Okay. I don't want to make this a bad, kind of like dog on people or whatever. What is that drink?
Oh my God. It's so good. It is Nature's Twist lemonade.
Stop right there. Is this the thing from Sam's?
Yes.
All right. Yesterday, I was at Sam's with the kids yesterday. I went back to the back corner where the apple juice is, because you need to when you got kids.
Yeah.
And I was looking for this, and I didn't know what kind of container it was in. And I'm like, are these individual bottles? Is this a giant jug?
Yeah.
Where is this?
And it also is like wrapped in plastic. So you know how your water bottles are wrapped in plastic?
Yes.
It's like that. So it's next to the freezers.
Okay.
This is like
back wall, like where the iced teas are.
I don't know where the iced teas are, but I'm going to probably guess
they're on the back wall.
I'm going to guess yes, like, by the ice cream. We told you they're by the ice cream.
But in the section where the sodas and the different, packaged bottles are.
Yes, like behind those. Yes.
Okay. All right. This weekend when I go to Sam's, that's become an every weekend deal.
What I do is, so I like it plain, but if me, I'm always trying to like get protein in my diet. I will put in a scoop of vanilla protein, this and ice, and it is a Chick-fil-A frozen lemonade dupe.
Okay. All right.
So
I'll take
good.
that idea.
It is so good.
I mean, I just want to try the lemonade, but okay.
Oh, you'll love it. Okay, so back to Doug in his car. Doug in his car.
I'm not going to make this like sometimes we get a little, I'm going to freely admit it, we get a little bit snarky or we get a little, I just have not been able to figure it out. So Doug, who works here with us, nice guy. All right.
We'll use that term loosely.
What's that?
I said we'll use that term loosely.
What, nice guy?
No, works here with us.
Oh, okay. All right. So we tried not to be snarky, but at any rate, nice enough guy, right? I'm not looking to make enemies or anything like that. But
am I going to invite him to my house for dinner? No.
No, but that's all right. Some coworkers are on that level, some are just not, and that's okay. Whatever, know. But here's the thing: I can't figure this out. Now, when Doug's here, Doug always gets the very first parking spot. He actually has one of the 2 handicap spots. Okay, so be it. Whatever. It's not my place to judge what your handicap is. One can speculate.
First of all, he almost died 3 times.
All right, you get a sticker to be able to park where you want when that happens. Okay. So Doug likes to go to his car a lot. And a lot of times I'll walk by, I'm maybe on my way out for the day, and Doug's in his car.
Yeah.
Or periodically goes to his car.
Yeah.
What is Doug doing in his car?
Smoking a bowl.
Are we sure?
I mean, I'm like 95% sure. Yeah. So I have a girlfriend. I see where this could possibly be your train of thought. I have a girlfriend who eats her lunch in her car.
Okay.
It's not that she hates her coworkers or anything, but she said, I just need to like walk away and be away from them for a little bit,
But that's lunch. That's one walk away.
Right.
This is probably 8 times a day when he's here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of car time.
That's why I said we're going to use working loosely.
Well, okay, yes.
At one point I thought he was smoking cigarettes, but I don't think he's smoking cigarettes.
I don't think so.
Because if he was smoking cigarettes, he would stand with all the
He'd be ready for death for the 4th time.
Well, that and he would be standing with all the smokers.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be in the circle. He'd be chit-chatting them up. No, I think he probably is playing Candy Crush, and maybe it's not a bowl, but I think he's at least vaping. But you know what? His windows are really yellow and gross.
Oh, are they? I didn't look at that. I'll have to notice that next time.
Because he's smoking something in his car.
Well, and I was just I'm like, is this a decompression thing? I couldn't put my finger on.
Like Lindsay and lunch, like my one girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah, but that makes sense to me. You just but
you're not eating 8 times.
There's more times that I see him there than I do at his desk.
Every day.
And again, I'm not trying to be cruel.
Are you going to knock on the window and ask him what he's doing?
No, I don't. It's
all speculation.
It is. Because that would be equally as weird if I walked up, beep, 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 beep,
I would love it if you did that.
If you want me to, you're the worst influence on me ever. I mean, thank God we didn't know each other in high school. You and I would have been expelled because if Allie takes me down a road, I cannot not drive the road with her. You are just this influence on me. Do you want me to knock on the window and be like, Doug, I just got to know.
What are you doing in there?
What is the, 6, 7, 8 times a day? What is it?
I hate to burst your bubble, but I think the same thing about Jaisano, the producer.
What?
Yes.
Our producer? He does not do that.
I'm pretty sure he does.
No.
Yes.
No.
Are you serious that you're like being that naive to this?
I don't think he does.
He goes to his car at least once during his shift.
He does?
Yes.
I don't even know.
You know how sometimes
he is in another studio when we're doing the show and that. So
sometimes we're like, Jaisano, where are you? And he's nowhere to be found. That's what I think he's doing.
I thought he went down to have a conversation with his girlfriend or something.
No, but sometimes, and I'm like, why is Scott not saying anything about this? He's not here right now, so I don't have to whisper.
Well, I've known he's blown up the men's room a couple times in the morning. I mean, for 19, I'm like, you're shitting like you're 58.
Look at the boy. He's healthy. So that is a really terrible terrible term to use. Anyway, so sometimes I know he's stoned in the morning. I just know it. He is absolutely.
Am I missing this because he does such a good job? Like, how is it? All right, let's apply the theory. All right. And again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to ask. I don't understand this lifestyle, guys. I don't smoke bowls. I've never done an illegal drug. Well, I guess marijuana is not even illegal anymore. It's not my thing. Okay. It's just not my thing. I'm sorry. I know for all the people that love it, go for it. But why is it Gisano can be in here and he is so efficient, so good at what he does, and just it's done before you even ask it to be done. And then there are other people, they're just like,
they're in their car 8 times during the day.
There's nothing. Yeah. How does this happen?
I think a couple of things about this. I feel so bad about talking about this.
But I want to just understand, like, what is the effect on people?
I think that
is it like alcohol where some people, one drink, they're stumbling all over themselves and they're like, bah, and then other people can, drink a fifth and still function. Is it the same thing?
I think he probably uses it to loosen up, although I could be wrong on this. I also think that you are turning an eye to this. I think if you look for the signs, which are pretty obvious to me.
I never knew to look for it.
I think you want to think that he is perfect all the time. But
now that I have this in my mind, I have to wonder because I've never thought of it.
What are you going to do if he says, yes, he is stoned in the morning? Are you going to be mad? Are you going to tell him to stop doing it? Because then you are technically his boss, you have to do something with it. Because wait, I want to say one other thing, and then you can answer my question.
Because I already have my answer.
So I think with that, he is young. And he still wants to make sure he does right by us, which is great. And I want that. I want him to respect me and to do the job that he is being paid to do and that we have given him. So I think there's that. He's not tainted yet. And I think also there are some people.
Just tinctured?
Yeah. I think there are some people who just need that to relax a little bit. And so that's what he does. But he's really giggly a lot of times. And sometimes he's like, his eyes I couldn't even pry his eyes open with a toothpick if I tried. I couldn't pry his eyes open with a piece of floss if I tried.
Now, in this studio, the way the lighting is, I can barely see someone walking through the door of the studio. It's just the way the lights are pitched. I can't really look. Like, you're in a spot when you're sitting. He would sit normally next to Allie at another microphone if he pops in. Mm-hmm. You have a better, I guess, line of sight than I do of him. So I've never noticed.
I always look at him.
Well, directly. All right. So you want to know what my answer would be to this?
Yes, I do.
Because I can, in this case, he works for our show and our company. Now, it's not my place to tell this company what their policy should be on how comfortable they are with employees that decide to do. Well, we're going to have to call smoke it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't own the company. And I don't make those rules.
You are his. Okay.
Well, that's where I'm coming with that.
Okay.
When it comes to this, I think I'm going to have a conversation. And I'm going to say, I don't care what you do in your free time.
Now I feel bad. I'm the narc.
No, not at all. I don't have a problem with what you do in your free time as long as you don't get in trouble and misrepresent what we do, because we do enough of misrepresenting of what we do.
Right.
No,
I agree with that.
But at any rate, I don't have a problem with what you do with that. Okay. Yep. However, it would get frowned upon if any of us came in, think of it like this, intoxicated, unable to function, doing, what we're supposed to do. Or, so you have to go in the same thought process. It is different.
I agree with you.
It is 1,000% different. If someone runs down for 30 seconds, has a cigarette and comes back, because you are not impairing any of your functions. You may be impairing your future of living, but that's your choice. That's not my place to say.
Right.
You do what you want to do with that. However, it's not illegal in the sense of, it's really not illegal anymore, at least in New York State. I guess in Pennsylvania either. I don't know though.
Federally.
Federally
it's illegal.
Right. It's dancing a line, but I would prefer to have all the wits about you, if you will, while we're doing what we have to do. Now, I don't care if your shift is over, and I mean, I'd prefer you didn't drive. But this is just my preference. You're not supposed to drive under the influence of anything.
Right,
okay, that's
right.
just so I can't even say your shift is over. Go to your car and do it. I would prefer you do it at
Not
your
like
own.
Doug.
Do it your own place, your own time. That's fine. Because I mean, that's the other thing too. Is if you get in bad enough trouble, we can't protect you in any way, shape, or form. You go out and wreck a car or hurt somebody. We can't protect you. That's not something, and nor should we.
Because
I mean, those are
happened-
your own those are your own actions.
Before Scott and I, there was a guy who did get a DUI in a company vehicle, crashed it. Did he get fired? I don't even know.
I don't even remember this story. Don't mention names. I
won't.
You know.
But I don't. It was before my time. It was like a year or two before me. So actually, it must have been 2 because it was before you then, I guess, Scott.
Okay, yeah.
And the guy put the radio station vehicle in a ditch. So that's the other thing.
I mean, now accidents happen. If it's a deer that runs out in front of you or whatever, I don't know. I just feel like I want his wits all about about him while we're doing what we have to do. Now,
I agree.
If he's in some sort of crazy, prescribed situation, I take those words back. It's not crazy prescribed. I mean, there are people that have been under the prescription. I don't know. Do people still do that in New York? Does anybody go get a prescription for medical marijuana anymore?
Yes.
They do?
Yes. And even, especially if you're a child cancer patient or something.
Well,
yes, the answer is...
That would be a situation. But I mean, over the age of 21... You can go to so many places. You still go get a medical card?
I think you would rather have the medical stuff because at least it's being tested and you're not just getting a bunch of weed that's being sprayed with THC, which is a rumor that I heard recently that's what they're doing.
I don't know. Again, it's a lifestyle and a world I don't really want to have. I guess I want to know enough knowledge of it to know if one of my kids decides one day to experiment with it, I know what to deal with, but that's it.
So I think one of our bosses knows this is all going down. And it's funny because this boss sometimes will go, well, it's radio. And we don't want to be too strict. And I'm thinking,
strictness.
Yeah, I can still have fun and not be under the influence. Like, I don't need to drink to have a good time. I don't need to drink to do my job.
Strictness and let's lay down some general policies are two different things.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you can't do what you want to do.
Right.
I'm not telling someone
just not on my watch.
Man. And in this case, I feel I actually have a shot to mold him in that because again, we're not going to come in and do what we have to do in a state that is going to, make the other person go, whoa, maybe a reprimand's in order.
Well, I think
it's just not coming.
I don't know if any other company deals with this though, but you have a couple people that do. So then, everybody goes out to their car. And then we have this guy who comes into the station. He works at a different station, but he comes here every once in a blue. And I noticed all of a sudden everybody's like going out to their car and you can't just like turn a blind eye to it because then we all get to smoke weed while we're working. And then I just get to behave how I want to behave. I get to do whatever I want to do. Like,
Did I miss something at one point? You remember back in the day, you might remember hearing something like this. You'd see a memo or you'd see an email come out and it wouldn't name anyone. But something would have happened. I don't know. Let's say the prize closet was left open, unlocked, and we would have had a key to be able to grab things to take to a broadcast. Let's say, okay, and someone forgot, and there were 4 live broadcasts in the course of a weekend. And I'm using something that very well could have happened. You can apply this to anything you do anywhere, whatever the job is. Okay, so there would be an email that would go out, and it would go something along the lines of, without naming names, this is a reminder. We need to make sure this is locked. We're going to put in place a policy. If it turns out that it happens again, then everyone's going to get, I don't know, some sort of general, whatever. Now you may have known the one person. Now, if it's a habitual offender, you pull that person in an office and you say, look, this has to change. Yeah. You're being spoken to now. If it happens again, I'm going to have to write you up. If it happens after that again, it's either one more write-up or you're going to get docked something, or you might lose your job eventually is the end game on this. But you could do this in a way where it is a group type thing. And this can apply on multiple levels. You don't have to be an asshole boss. You don't have to be a dick walking around. It's just a simple, hey, this is what our expectations are. Is there something wrong with expectations? That's all I'm asking.
Not at all, especially when you're wanting to make the company better or you want to pull progress forward. There is okay with some boundaries. Yeah, of course. I like to knock down the boundaries here and there, right? I'm not. But
when it's a consistent knockdown, it's no longer knocking them down. That's the norm. And that's where I run it. And please, I'm not a prude. Okay. I started this by saying when we were talking about what does Doug do in his car?
Right,
I literally didn't know. I'm like, was he trying to mentally escape? I don't know.
Wow. You're so naive.
Maybe I am. But you know what? I also believe in the fact of setting certain boundaries and certain expectations and saying, number one, because we live in a state where you can obviously partake in cannabis. Okay. Yeah. So be it. I don't want you coming into my workplace stinking like it. Okay. This goes back all the way to years and years, almost more than a decade ago. It drove us nuts because we had a manager that was like, I have expectations of the way you dress in the workplace. Do you remember this?
Oh, God, I hated this.
You hated it, but you know what? You never, did you hate it because you always came dressed? No, you didn't always come dressed great, but no. you do now. You know what I mean? But there was the phase. Okay. But I'm not calling you out on it, but it's almost like that in the sense of, he was trying to put expectations out of, you got to just look a certain way. It's a business. I don't need you reeking it up unless we are a business that sells that, in which case, okay, fine, whatever. I guess it's a lifestyle. Am I wrong for thinking this?
Well, I mean, I can kind of get on board with you a little bit on that because I think there does have to be a standard. But I felt so uncomfortable. I never enjoyed doing the show because I was very uncomfortable in the way what I was wearing because we had to wear khakis. Yeah. It was like so limited in how we dressed.
Yeah, there should have been a little bit more of a
wiggle
wider
room. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not in the Army. I didn't sign up. I don't have to wear a uniform. Screw you.
No, I agree with that. They're in a place of business. Unless you have to wear a specific uniform, fine. Give me a here to here. You don't want torn up jeans where your ass cheeks hanging out, or you don't want okay, fine. I can appreciate that. Look somewhat presentable. But the same would apply for these are the rules from 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are for people here.
It's funny because my friends who are into that lifestyle agree. I don't need to go to work that way.
No, but I don't care you do it. Just don't do it here.
And we actually have another employee here who's really into it. And he says that. He says, never, ever do I do it here.
Right.
I go home, love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And that's fantastic for that person.
Sure. But I think, it stays there.
And what happens is then you get other people who they start behaving and working the way the one person does, which is, like I said from the beginning, coming full circle, loosely working.
Do I just sound like a grouchy old bastard?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's what a lot of companies are going through right now. And you feel like you sound like the grumpy old bastard, but it's not. You just have some standards. You have always had a standard of working here, and now it's just getting even too loose for you, which is crazy because we do.
Because I'm pretty loose.
Well, yes, we work in radio. It is pretty loose, but when it's like really no work at all, well, honey, I need to make a paycheck, so I got to work.
Yeah,
and that actually takes work. So,
all right. So then maybe that's the secret.
So I think that's frustrating for us is because we see that all of a sudden it's not just one person. Now it's 2 people. Now it's 3 people. Now it's 4 people. Oh, now it's 5 people. Now we have 5 people who don't fucking work.
Well, you look at it like this.
You got these half over here who do. And that's, oh my gosh, don't get me on this high horse.
Remember this. This is all I'm saying is this. You ain't coming to work drunk and you're not coming or cracking beers as you're going through the workday trying to do it.
I mean, some days I wish just to deal with Scott,
There are days, yes. But, at the same time, if you're not doing that, that, then it shouldn't be okay to do the other things. I mean, it just, I'm sorry. And I'm not stopping somebody, like I said, I'm not stopping somebody from going to have a damn cigarette. Usually that takes about 4 minutes. And the worst you're doing is to yourself.
Well, that's another thing, but we can save this for another day. It depends where you work. And I was just talking to my significant other and I asked him, hey, what's the smoke break schedule for you guys? They're very strict. They get one at like 10 and 2, and then they get their lunch. And it's only, I think it's like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is.
It's more of a factory style schedule with that.
Yes. And he does not work in a factory.
No.
But he said no one goes outside except for at 10 and 2.
Okay.
And I said to him, it's a revolving door here. People are always going out to smoke. And it's like 10 minutes here, 10 more minutes here, 10 more minutes. And he was like, how does anybody get work done? That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's that.
That's what I'm saying. And I love what I do too much that it's very frustrating. So thank you for frustrating me, Scott. I appreciate it.
All I wanted to know was what he was doing in his car. I still am not convinced, but then, wow, I guess I'll be knocking on the window.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess I'll find out.
I can't wait for the follow-up.
I guess I will.
Stay right here because when we get back, Scott got a ticket. Want to address the ticket.
It's been a long time.
And I have another work thing about vacation and pay. So we'll be right back. The Not For Air podcast is brought to you by Allison Aesthetics. What started out as me wanting juicier, plumper lips, well, then I found out that Allison Aesthetics was so much more. Got this amazing facial. You can see the glow there. And then a little bit of Botox just to get rid of some fine lines and wrinkles and prevent them too. And then I found out they do hair removal. Yes, please. And it didn't even hurt. I swear, it didn't hurt. Make sure you follow Allison Aesthetics online and book with them today.
Allie, I got a ticket. First time in a long time that I've gotten a ticket.
I forgot to tell you, I got a ticket. It blew off my window and I still haven't paid it. It was like one of those $5 jobbies.
This was on my window for 3 days. How did yours blow off?
The highway? I don't know. It just did. And I completely forgot.
Parking ticket?
Yeah, I think it was a parking ticket.
Well, it wouldn't have been a
something.
speeding ticket. They're not gonna wait for you to stop and then go get it.
It must have been a parking lot like behind Market Street or something. So what's your ticket?
All right. So the other day I'm at the eye doctor's and an old friend of the show who we haven't talked to in a long time. Well, I've actually seen him a few times recently because he's an ophthalmologist. And you think it's all right that I mention him?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so our old friend Dick, who used to do psychic stuff for us on the morning show, but he's really an ophthalmologist by trade. He can truly see into your future.
What's the difference between an ophthalmologist and an optometrist?
I'm sorry. He's an optometrist. My eye doctor's an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist is the doctor version. They can do all the prescribing. They go in deep. Then there's the optical surgeons, things like that, which is above that.
Oh.
The optometrist, primarily glasses and contacts, fittings, things like that.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they can do light eye exams. Don't get me wrong.
No.
But, if you have a...
just a light one. I'll just blow with my mouth in your eyeball.
Yeah, right. No, I mean... optometrists definitely do eye exams, and if you don't have a severe eye situation, you're probably fine just going to an optometrist. They can figure out what your script is, and you go from there. If you have a little bit bigger of an eye situation, you go to an ophthalmologist. Well,
okay.
I'm at my ophthalmologist, and his optometrist happens to be somebody that we did a lot with over the years. Now, Dick is a funny guy. I got to be honest with you. I forgot because it was a long time since I had seen him that he popped up working there. And he's a funny guy.
Can I describe him with one word?
Yeah.
Wacky. He is wacky.
He is the epitome of wacky.
Yes.
And he's got great stories. He knows everybody. And you sit there and
he knows all of your ancestors too.
He does. And he'll talk to them. And what's funny about it is he still has all the energy in the world. I don't know how old Dick is, but
Dick is like Steve Martin. He has been 68 for the past 30 years.
That's exactly it. So he's telling me this story about how he ended up getting a bunch of fake parking tickets. And we're laughing. I don't want to get into the whole story because there may have been a question about some involvement with law enforcement at one point questioning these tickets per se.
Well, however, okay, so he bought a pad basically of fake. Okay,
they're fake tickets.
I want to explain it for the listener.
And to be totally honest with you, it would take you 3 seconds to look at the ticket and go, this is all BS, right?
But at first you're like, oh no, what's in my window?
Right. And I guess, and I didn't even know he put this on my window until the next day. How observant am I? I teased you about driving to work with your eyes closed. I drove all the way here and home one day and didn't realize it was on my windshield. So Dick, at one point, I had the kids in the back getting their eye exam done, runs out to my car and puts the ticket on my window. And I'm going to give this to Allie because he was almost in trouble for somebody, and I swear to God, now he's just horsing around. Yeah. But let me tell you, you got to be an idiot if you don't realize this is fake from the get-go, but it's also hilarious.
Especially because at the top here, it says Karma Police.
Karma Police.
And then he did put your license plate number, which is kind of funny.
Oh, that's fine.
The date, the time, who you are. Now, let me tell you some of the violations on here.
Oh, yes.
Barefaced lying. Or there is avoiding an issue. Oh, that's Scott.
Oh, that might be.
Pompously prejudice. Just plain rude and obnoxious. Underhanded and diabolical. Blindly self-serving and self-obsessed. Hopelessly spaced out and dangerously unaware. Oh, that's me when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Okay, this word I don't know. Incorrigibly lewd and lascivious? Lascivious. What does that mean?
God, is lascivious a liar? Hang on. Let me do it
but
this way.
But then here at the bottom, it says, it's like, it looks like it would be real because it says, in accordance with the laws of the universe and karma, you are hereby required to make immediate amends and or apologies to the aforementioned persons or institutions perpetrated against. Failure to comply will cause this already negative energy to come reeling around the planet right back into your life.
So which one did I get? He marked one off for me.
You got hopelessly spaced out and dangerously unaware.
Oh, very nice. What does lascivious mean? Hold on a second. I got to remember.
Lasciviousness refers to the practice of debauchery, lewdness, or licentiousness. In a word,
licentiousness.
Oh my God, now I got to look up licentiousness.
What does licentiousness mean?
Here's some information.
Oh, it wants to take me to a website.
Oh, Jesus.
Jeez, I'm not going into it.
That's really cute, though. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that he still is so young at heart.
It was great.
I want to still be doing this stuff when I am of that age.
Oh, he's a good spirit and talks to them.
Yeah, yes, he does.
Good and bad.
Do you want my question before we go?
What? Can it be a question we ask and we answer on the next podcast?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah, because we do have to go. Okay. Would you rather get a week's vacation every month or get an extra paycheck every 6 months?
I already have my answer, but I'll tell you next week. I already know my answer. Without a doubt, I know what it is.
Samesies. All right. We'll do that next week. You guys have a great week. Anything else, Scott?
No, except I swear to God, we weren't trying to just bitch and moan about people. We were just curious.
No, but you got me on my high horse on that one.
All right, goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Do us a favor, will you? Subscribe. Share the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast. Touch our buttons. We know you want to.